This old woman tried to get into the king's bed. Had her sister glue her skin together? Then, under cover of night, she slipped into the king's embrace. Yet after one night, by the light of a candle, the king arrived at a dry, shriveled face. He was so frightened that he turned away instantly, calling soldiers on the spot to throw her off the cliff. But to his surprise, this ugly woman not only did not fall to her death, instead, she would soon re-enter the king's bed. That day, the king accidentally heard a beautiful song. The voice instantly aroused the king's interest. He immediately asked the girl what her name was. Where does her family live? Watching the maiden shyly flee, the king felt more interesting, so immediately chose a pearl necklace, and sent someone to the maiden's home. But strangely the maiden didn't come forward, just accepted the gift in a hanging basket. And as the camera draws closer, it turns out that the dreamy girl in the king's fantasy, she was actually an ugly old woman. If the king knew the truth, the sisters would surely die without a trace. Sure enough, that very night, the king couldn't wait to get here. Hearing the sharp and grumpy knock on the door, terrified, the younger sister nearly spilled the truth, but the older sister covered her up. Then she cleared her throat and pretended to be sweet.
Oh no, I'm just a poor girl. I don't deserve the honor you bestow on me.
And listening to the soft voice, the king was even more impatient. The older sister had to promise. A week later, she offered the king her most exquisite gift herself.
Which part of your body will you grant me?
A finger, Your Majesty?
Thinking of the slender fingers, the king agreed, but the younger sister froze. Their hands had long been wrinkled into lumps. They even had frostbite. But the older sister had a plan. She boiled up a pot of collagen, then coats her fingers well, then wrapped them tightly in cloth. Then she just needs to wait for 7 days. She'll have a perfect finger. However, on the 7th day, when she confidently pulled off the cloth, she found that her finger was still wrinkled. The older sister burst into tears. Her sister rushed to comfort her, but the 7-day appointment had arrived. There was a knock at the door from the king. Seeing no way out, she stuck her sister's finger out of the lock hole. However, the king couldn't get enough of it. It turned out that her sister had a habit of sucking her fingers. This caused her fingers to look delicate. Combined with the king's fantasies, it confirmed that she was a beautiful girl. The king immediately agreed to take her back to the palace. The next day, she used glue to fix the wrinkled skin. Then, draped in a cloak, she entered the king's chamber. At first the king didn't notice anything wrong, but after getting a good look at the lady's true appearance, the king was so frightened that he bounced out of bed and threw himself off the cliff with the bed. But what everyone didn't expect was, the old woman not only did not fall dead, instead, she was saved by a passing witch, and under the nourishment of food, her wrinkles slowly disappeared. She became a beautiful woman. It so happened that the king was hunting in the forest. A perfect encounter took place immediately.